Hello and welcome to Last Level Gamescast. My name is Jason. That's Phil. Say hi, Phil.
Hi.
Same every time. At least you're consistent. That's Var. Say hi, Var.
How's it going?
He's just as
Good.
consistent.
Yeah, that's true. We are a bunch of consistent motherfuckers.
Yeah.
All right. So how we doing? How's everybody?
Good.
Good.
Good. Playing some games, doing some things.
What are you playing?
So, I finally jumped into Dark Souls 2.
Dark Souls 2.
The first day, I put a bunch, like 5 hours into it. But then, Golden Sun came in the mail. Then I started playing Far Cry Primal. Then I started playing Pokemon on my tablet.
You always do this. You always do this.
I went from having no games to play, like, desperately, like, fuck, what am I going to play? Finally being like, fine, I'll play Dark Souls. And then I'm just like, oh, let me get all this other shit at once. And, like, I want to get back to Dark Souls, but now I'm like, well, I should finish Golden Sun.
And then you're going to want to finish Primal because it's shorter.
Yep, I'm like, oh, let me finish Far Cry first. And then right around the corner, there's more games. I don't know. I fucked up, man. I fucked up.
Well, at least Uncharted is going to give you another couple weeks. Because they got delayed, so.
Because that doesn't ever need to come out.
No. It'll come out. It's not that bad.
Tomorrow.
I like how they think they're slick, though. Because I thought it was going to get delayed one more time after they released another, like, although it's a story trailer, it was a very detailed trailer. And I'm just like, they're going to push it back. You know, it just made, it's just.
And the beta's this weekend.
Yeah.
How big do you think that patch is going to be day one?
I don't know.
Because they said they're not changing the day that they're making the disc. They're not changing when they're going gold. They just push the date back 2 weeks.
To make more discs.
To make more discs.
Yeah.
So how big that patch do you think it's going to be? Like a 3 gig patch?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's like one of those things at this point I don't. It doesn't bother me as much, I guess, because everyone does it now, you know?
Well, what bothered me more was the comments made by the people who, like, left the project.
Yeah.
Were like, it was good, and then they completely changed it, so we pieced.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What happened?
And we'll never know. We'll never know how good it was. But I'm sure this is going to be fine.
Yeah,
you know,
it's fucking Uncharted.
Still got Neil Druckmann running things, so it'll be alright. What about you, Var? What you playing? XCOM 2.
Is that easy to tell?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm playing XCOM 2.
How are you liking it?
I'm loving XCOM 2.
Are you? Have you put it down? Are you 800 hours in? Should I even ask you that?
It's mathematically impossible, but I'm close.
Well,
You're close. Working on it.
Have you beaten it?
Yes.
You have beaten it. Jesus Christ. You're a monster. We just did a podcast a week ago.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
Some people go hard.
Was it more challenging than your first run through of XCOM?
No.
Well, because probably you understand the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was less of a learning curve.
Yeah. Was it everything you wanted?
Uh-oh. He doesn't like change.
It's true.
I like changes done well.
Changes done well.
And they did it really, really, really well. But really they did something that infuriated me.
Oh, God.
Yep.
They released the game. No, fuck it with you.
Close enough.
What was it?
Whoa.
The problem is, so I go to the Steam store page, and there's 3 DLC already announced.
Yeah. The season pass, right?
But once you beat the game...
Yeah.
If you've played the other one and you've played the expansion packs for it, there are things the expansion pack added to the original.
Oh, and is that not a possibility?
Can be in the expansion packs coming. It's not in the current game.
Okay. Well, in all fairness, though, when they made XCOM 2, they just said fuck the ending of the other game.
This is true.
So
this is true, but it was nothing about the ending.
Okay. Oh, okay.
The expansion pack was an add-on to the game that you could not, like, if you were doing your first campaign and you were halfway through when the expansion pack came out, you had to start over.
Oh, okay.
Because the expansion pack added stuff that became integral to the game at that point. And in short, without giving too much away, mechs and DNA augmentation.
Yeah.
And you don't have either of those in XCOM 2.
Okay, so it's more you're afraid of what can they add to actually add to the game.
It's not that I'm afraid of it. It's that I already know what they could add to the game. And I already know that that's what they're going to do to some extent.
It's in
In
DLC.
one of these 3 expansions, they're going to add that.
Okay.
It's just it saddens me that because it really is like a gift basket. It's a gift basket of a game.
Yeah.
Like you look at it and you see the nice things that are exciting, and then you get into it and it's just little gift after little gift after little gift until you're just scraping at the bottom, just like, oh my god, there's even more stuff. And with that being said, knowing that because they've already announced that these expansion packs will add content.
Yeah, I was just looking at them.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
it looks like each one of them's gonna bring up a new mission and maps.
and I think
Holy
one
shit,
of them.
they're soon.
Yes, that's what bothered me.
They're spring, summer, and summer.
Yes.
Damn. Okay.
Summertime.
That's about because a part of me thinks to myself that could have been in the game.
No.
You always think that.
No. Yeah.
Exactly. That's my bias. That's my bias. My bias isn't going anywhere.
It should because XCOM sucks. Anyway.
Whose bias?
I'm still currently justifying my drunken purchase, and I've just been playing Rainbow Six on PS4. I am playing NBA 2K16 in between. I think I keep saying this. I mentioned this like to you guys when 2K16 first came out, but even more as I have it, I think I'm not gonna buy. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna buy next year's just because I love this one. Because they always do this. They make one that I just am enamored with, and then I play next year's, and it's just not the same. It doesn't have the same impact on me. So,
who's 2K? That's 2K.
2K, yeah.
Wow,
Who's 2K?
Baby stuff.
Who's 2K? Oh,
Your name's Phil.
You're gonna have what is it? NBA Live soon on EA Access, so you're fine.
Oh, I'd be better off creating my own game.
You would be. You really would.
Amazon has a new video game development thing that I'm interested in.
There you go.
Yeah, so might as well. I could show them how it's done. Not really. I don't know that much about coding like that.
You wouldn't have to.
That's true.
Shots fired.
So we mentioned already Uncharted got delayed. It's not a huge deal. I do have for you guys updates on some of our predictions. So I can't remember this. I was trying to find it, but I was rushing. But I'm pretty sure I said that No Man's Sky wasn't going to come out this year.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So I fucked up on that. I did.
Why did that get a release date?
Yeah.
It did. June 21st.
Oh.
So that one's already out the window. But I was right about Mass Effect, so it's even.
You were. I was wrong about that one.
Yeah, suck a dick.
So wait, does that means PlayStation VR is June 21st, right?
No, I still don't think that's going to happen.
Did we find out what date
you remember, is? No. We did a great job prepping for the show.
Teamwork.
Yeah. Fuck you, you're not doing anything.
Right. Perfect. June 14th through 16th. I say day and date PlayStation VR, June 21st with
Still think it's a Christmas release.
Nope. I think it comes out before that.
All right. You heard it here.
They have the conference in a couple days, in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They have the conference.
Yeah. It's not gonna happen.
Where they're gonna day and date it, and they're gonna give price, and they'll give that June 21st.
I hope they come out
the 21st. It's gonna be right in that.
It's
gonna be right with No Man's Sky.
I just hope it's like, and it's coming out 2016. And just, nothing else. Guy walks off the stage. Everybody's like, that's not an actual date.
Why are you here? We knew that. Yeah.
But I waited a month just for it to, pretty much everybody that's going to review it's reviewed it. So XCOM 2. I am trying. Oh, got it here. I didn't just leave the screen. So, XCOM 2, we said that it was going to be what XCOM 1 was. It was an 88.
Yeah.
That was, or 89. I'm sorry, 89. And after a month, it's at an 88. So the closest person was yours truly.
Fuck you.
Phil, you were at 90. So
I know.
Now, the interesting thing is, now Far Cry, I'm going to give it a little bit more time, but I will say this. It's been over a week released, and it's at a 76. I don't think it's going up from there.
No, I don't think so either.
We were all pretty much way off. I was closest. Me and Levar were closest. He was 80, I was 79. Phil, you had 95. I don't understand what you were smoking. And
Clearly,
I thought I was crazy when I wrote that down, so I went back to the video and listened to it, and you did say 95.
So here was my thought, though. And I think they stumbled the execution of it. Is I didn't realize, or what I didn't know, obviously, beforehand, how closely they were sticking to Far Cry 4. And what I mean by that is, like, the base camps and the towers and, like, that whole system, how they literally just ported that over.
Well, that's
I thought they were trying to make a departure from it. Yeah. Use the same engine, but make a departure of it where, like, more of the creatures matter than that kind of thing. And I think it would have done way better. I think, honestly, that 76 is not fair. That's not fair.
Why?
That's fatigue, is what that is.
Okay.
That's Far Cry fatigue.
Yeah. Same as Assassin's Creed.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I think the game standalone is way better than a 76. I wouldn't say a 95. I would give it a solid 85.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's better than that. It's definitely better than that. It's gorgeous. The animal play is something cool. The problem where it gets knocked is that it reuses the assets of the go take this camp, go take that camp.
Even the map, right? I think they were saying that they ported the map. I didn't see it.
They didn't port the map exactly. They took the river, like the waterway, and they reused that.
That's not a big deal.
If that makes sense.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, I think it just, in the back of my head, and it just reminds me of Battlefield Hardline, where I'm like, that should have been an expansion or something, like a big, like, you know what I mean, like a Dying Light, how they did the following. Obviously, they're using the same. They can make the argument that it's a completely different beast and all that, but when it feels like an expansion, that's what happens. People are just like, it just doesn't feel like its own thing.
It almost felt like maybe this was an expansion, and then they were like, shit, this got really big, and they were like, let's just release it as its own thing.
I agree, because you know what they did with Far Cry, I think it was Far Cry 3, they released the Blood Dragon, which was basically like this, Tron. Yeah, it was its own thing. It was its own environment. Like, the combat was the same, but it was its own just thing. And it was a DLC, and it was pretty good. But, it is what it is.
Because I'll tell you, so my buddy picked up Far Cry Primal.
Yeah.
He hasn't played 4 and 3, and he really enjoys it.
Okay.
Whereas me, I'm more burnt out on it. That's why I only have like 6 hours, 7 hours in. Because I'll go in, I'll take 2 base camps, and then just get the fuck off.
It's very surprising to see a company like Ubisoft repeating games year after year. Tisk. Wait, who makes Assassin's Creed? Never mind.
Jay's been stuck in Bizarro World for a while.
So
yeah, he thinks XCOM's good.
Oh.
People like you.
Shots have been fired. All right, let's get into the news. So, VAR, this is up your alley. Not really. How excited would you be if I said you were playing a game and you got a little nervous and the game got harder, and then you got a little bit more nervous and the game got even harder? What if a game could read your emotions? Would that excite you?
No.
I don't think it could read your emotions because you have none.
Say that. What emotion?
It would ask if anyone was actually playing this game. You were in front of it.
You know what I think of when I hear that?
Well, hold on. So I'm gonna just blurt it out there. So BioThriller, which I'm not sure if they're a games company or they're just an extension of the MIT course, but they developed a motion sensing technology called Affectiva, and they use it in a game called Nevermind, where basically they use a webcam and software to read and analyze your emotions, and with that, it may have different things that the game does in the game based on your emotions. Pretty exciting stuff. 2 out of 3 of us, I think it's interesting.
That's dope.
Why don't you like it, Bar?
Don't. Because there are 2 examples that come to mind.
Okay.
PT.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That would have been amazing.
It's awesome.
No. I don't think it would have been amazing at all.
Yeah.
Would have.
I think I wouldn't have got through the first level of PT if it was reading my emotions just like, oh, this motherfucker's afraid of going around this corner. Now there's something behind you.
Yeah.
No, I'm not good with that.
That's amazing.
And the other thing is, I think sometimes you sit down just to enjoy a game.
Mm-hmm.
And if something was reading that you're just like, you're having a good time and it's just too fun for you, and it just notched it up until it wasn't fun for you.
But
such a pessimist.
That would be like me being like, hey, I'm sitting down to play this game, but I want to play a sports game. So I would play a sports game. So if you were sitting down just to enjoy something, you wouldn't play that type of game.
And things get progressively harder regardless. Yeah.
But not every game will use that technology.
Game.
Yeah, but not every game will use that technology.
Understand.
So just play a game that doesn't have it.
But that is an example.
Yeah.
Or if
that's where games are going in general. Where it's actually reading you to determine the difficulty instead of how, for the past decade or so, it's been telling you that it's been, analyzing what you do to determine what's difficult for you and what's not difficult.
So what's the difference?
The difference is...
there is no difference.
There is no difference.
It's a slight difference.
Game to tell that you walk back 50 times instead of going around that corner, or you spend 10 seconds to get around that corner instead of... like 90 other people just walk past the corner.
What I'm saying is like
that's a loop.
It's a standardized test versus a person. To me, with a person, it's more irritating. If a person is looking at you and trying to find the way to press your buttons because they're looking at you and looking for that reaction, there's a difference between looking for and trying to draw out a reaction from me and analyzing what I do and seeing what fits me.
Fair enough.
One is not immediately resulting in my frustration and irritation.
Yeah.
But imagine it went the other way.
Go on.
So think about it. I'm playing Dark Souls 2, and I'm beyond frustrated at a part. Instead of me quitting that game,
makes it
maybe help me a bit or make it easier.
Yeah.
And now I get to see more of the game.
Yeah.
And then someone like you gets to say they beat a Dark Souls game
that
was handed to them.
The game doesn't take away from your enjoyment. At least it shouldn't. And wouldn't you rather that I get to see more of a game than see less of it?
Oh!
Better example.
I'm conflicted because I want you to earn it.
I would still be earning it, though, because it would tailor it to my skill level.
Yeah.
So you might be better than me at the game, so you can beat it easy.
Yeah, that's like us
me.
playing Madden, where I play on all Madden and you play on all Pro. I don't get mad at you for playing on all Madden. I get mad at you for playing on Rookie or Pro. That's what pisses me off.
But I have more fun on Rookie or Pro.
No, I was actually going to bring up that. Yeah. So imagine...
I'm the camera.
Playing Madden, Jay's the camera, right? You get mad when that camera starts going... Pick six. Right?
Exactly. That's
but imagine...
I should have caught that. Ooh, that was mine.
But imagine the opposite, that you weren't playing an asshole.
Yeah.
And... the game could see you get frustrated that, okay, you've now gone 3 things, refused to run the ball, because fuck it, and there's 3 interceptions. So maybe the game kind of works with you a little bit.
Yeah.
Or maybe they see that on Jason's face, and Jason's more like, fuck, I have to get better. He's not as frustrated with the system, because that's what he likes to happen.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. I don't think it always has to dick you. I think it can be helpful.
It goes both ways. What? It's funny. I think it's gonna be awesome for games, but I just think that whole idea, like, imagine what Netflix can do with that. Like, that's really stupid. Like, people outside of just games, what they can do with basically,
they already said advertisements looking into this.
They have to. I think they have to, look at this and try to figure out a way to implement it. I mean, they're gonna need people's approval, I think.
In all fairness,
until it becomes a problem.
Samsung collected all your information from their TVs for a long time before anyone gave them approval for it. So, the one thing it actually reminds me of the Wii Vitality sensor, and that died hard.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How the fuck did you spin Wii into this?
How?
How did you do that? I don't remember. What's the Vitality sensor? Is that with the Wii Fit?
No, it's a thing that would plug into the Wiimote, slip over your finger and measure your heart rate during like the game. And the thought was during certain games, like horror games and whatnot, they can make things harder, scarier, less scary, that kind of thing based off heart rate. And it just never got enough traction to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because not enough people were like, well, it's useful or whatnot.
Yeah.
The other thing too is think about coding for that.
Yeah.
So you got to code like all those different versions of the game.
Yeah. And different like processing, like your computer has to be able to process all that at once.
Yeah.
Like what they're doing and how to respond fast enough. That's a lot.
Madden or
The
FIFA? I would love
relativity.
that.
Yeah. What?
Like, think about that, because we aren't universally the same. Like, I've seen people who are infuriated, but they're grinning because that's how they express their
Yeah.
anger.
Oh, you're saying the way different people
Yeah.
show emotions. Yeah, that's true.
But they would probably have a calibration, I would assume.
Like sometimes when I am frustrated, I just start laughing.
Yeah.
Like getting mad. Like it happened to me. I was playing 2K and I got mad.
Yeah.
I was laughing my
Like,
ass off.
You don't, like,
And then I threw my shit.
must have generic emotions.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh.
That's true. Otherwise, somebody's gonna sue. Speaking of ways to piss VAR off.
No, here we go. Why
No.
not?
Let's talk microtransactions.
Oh.
For the most part, I think we all partake in some way in microtransactions. I think me more than you guys.
I think 100% you. I almost never.
Doesn't
anything
mean you don't.
microtransaction.
Motherfucker, doesn't mean you don't. You partook in the Destiny one. Yeah, that was 2 years ago. That's not the point.
What microtransaction?
Well, the season pass. It's
That's not a micro.
basically is. So we're always talking about microtransactions and how some companies suck at doing it. Most companies do. But they're a big deal for EA. And so, in fact, Kotaku did a report, basically, a thing. I don't know what to call it. It's a report, whatever.
It's an article.
An article showing that EA makes $1.3 billion on extra content. Now that includes DLC and season passes and stuff like that, but a lot, like what is it, $650 million comes from EA's Ultimate Teams. That's crazy. It's crazy.
But
crazy. But I've seen like a shit ton of people on Twitch play that, and I see like they have so much, like so many coins. It's unbelievable. I'm like, how did you get that? Oh, you paid.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, the first thing it made me think of, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, I think that it's just plain on fandom.
Yeah.
Because people are so much more intense about sports than need be.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a reason that G4 folded and it was a channel all about video games.
Mm-hmm.
And Fox Sports 1 started knowing that ESPN was the predominant force in the world. Like there's an understanding that the sports market is strong.
Mm-hmm.
And it even in like, because right now it's considered a downtime in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, like there's no lack of content. They find something to talk about. It's something that doesn't really go away from the person's day-to-day life. Like they're still driven on sports, and this is just finding the right way to market off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it doesn't sound well for my utopian idea of,
I was thinking
these
that.
things becoming platforms.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Because if they're getting $60 a fucking rip for the game, and then these motherfuckers are spending $650 million, well, then I'm going to put out a new game that makes them buy new downloadable content instead of letting them stack it up.
Tweak it a little bit, yeah.
Yep.
It sucks,
but it's gold now.
Yeah, it's funny because I wonder if they profit the most off like as a they have to as a whole.
Have to.
Like
physical release.
Yeah.
They already have the rights of like all the players and everything. That's got to be crazy money for them.
It's good for them.
God damn it.
Well, I mean, we have another segment that you'll enjoy. We have Nintendo news.
Yay!
So Phil be excited to hear that there's a new Paper Mario coming out to Wii U.
Yay!
And one of the more interesting things, there's a rumor going on that Nintendo is going to be getting Beyond Good and Evil 2 for the Nintendo NX.
Man.
Destructoid reported this. I don't know if it's been 100% verified. They say it might be, but
yeah, they said they reached out
wait
to
and see.
sources.
Yeah,
and like verified some independent stuff about it. It's interesting.
Yeah. That is a very like for when it came out, that was a very big game. Like like a lot of people like that game.
Yeah.
I myself never played it, but it did well. So if it's accurate, maybe they're taking it pretty serious. You know, with the whole idea.
It's almost like by Bayonetta, where they went out and bought Bayonetta 2 and brought it to the series, which Bayonetta 2, for being on Wii U, it actually did pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it. I'm gonna say that is I don't get it because like they need to show they have third party support, but by flat out buying something is not the way to do that.
Yeah.
Like we've said it a million times on here, like they need to come out. Like that doesn't even matter if they came out and they were like, "Hey, by the way, Madden 17 is going to be on our console."
Yeah.
You know, the next Call of Duty is going to be on our console. The next, like, that's what they need to do to be successful. And if they can't do that, then just get.
Yeah.
I remember there was a point in time where the Call of Duties were coming out, but they were like the worst possible versions.
Well, yeah, I'm saying
they were even different versions. They weren't even like the same game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is a gap they need to make up for.
They have to be aware of that, but I don't know how much they're focused on, you know, putting emphasis. We'll find out, you know. It's coming up. Everything's coming up. Next up is Microsoft spots. So, Phil Spencer, which I think he's awesome. He talked about Microsoft's new console strategy. It's clear that backwards compatibility is there. It's not going anywhere. They're going to continue to support it, which I think is cool because a lot of people like that. I myself could care less, but I think it's cool that because there's a lot of people out there that appreciate that. The interesting thing that I actually do find, you know, that I am happy that they're going to do is that they're going to continue to support it, and they are even talking about having, you know, adding features, you know, like hardware to, you know, support backwards compatibility going forward with the new systems, whatever they may be that come out. You know, this Xbox PC hybrid that might, you know. But Phil, you've been pretty much following this relatively well. What do you think about that idea? Because I've seen it, like some people are pissed off about it. The idea of a PC Xbox combo that's being kind of put out there. They're starting with Quantum Dream. What is it? Quantum Break.
Yeah.
And what do you think of it?
I think it's smart because they have to do something to differentiate themselves.
Yeah.
I think the fanboys are making a lot of noise, if that makes sense. Because they're like, oh, my Xbox One has to be a pure Xbox One. And then you have the PC boys being like, fuck consoles, murr. But realistically, I mean, if I could get my PC games in the living room, that'd be kind of cool. Like right off my Xbox and whatnot. The one thing they kept coming back to in that report, and kind of lately, is about like the upgradability of the Xbox One or about the next Xbox. So they're almost hinting that, they're just gonna sell you a PC. You know what I mean? Like, because they talked about having upgradable components coming out every couple years, and that's where I think that whole backwards compatibility becomes a huge fucking deal, right?
Yeah.
That like, hey, we released this new game, but it works on these consoles.
So do you think? You know, you mentioned that, like, that kind of sounds like Steam Machine. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of
does. It sounds exactly like what I wanted a Steam Machine.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Before it all fizzled and became shit. Right. It's one person saying this is the console. It will run everything we have, and then 2 years later, hey, this is a new, better console. It will run everything better than what we have, but the old one will still work. Don't worry about that. The games will all work on it. But for those who want it, this is more powerful. And then you have the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Or kind of what they were actually talking about, almost like a modular Xbox, where, hey guys, 2 years from now, they're like, hey, it's a new graphics card. If you want it, get it. If you don't, move on. Yeah. Kind of like what Nintendo used to do, with like the more RAM.
Yeah.
And then they had a bunch of features that never even made it to America, but they were out in Japan with like added graphical fidelity to the system. But man.
Yeah.
Talk about sink or swim. Huh?
So they're really investing in you can sell, like, the backwards compatibility has to do a lot with Sony, but then the Universal Windows application, I feel like, has a lot to do with Steam. And do you think it's gonna put a hit on Steam if they continue to do what they're doing? Like we talked, like what you're saying is that they release basically a console that's supposed to be what the Steam machine was going to be, and they have this universal Windows application that lets you pretty much bounce between Xbox and PC. I mean, they would have to work on pricing,
right?
Too, but I mean, I wonder if Steam's worried about it.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because there's cross-play, not cross-buy, but there's cross-play between PS4 and Steam.
Yeah.
So games like Rocket League and stuff. So I think that PS4 would try to partner with Steam and bolster themselves a bit, whereas Microsoft's trying to do it on their own with the Windows Store.
Yeah. Because they have PC.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would be that big of a deal. But to me, the exciting part to me is you look at like developers and you go, so this is going to sound weird, but bear with me. So Microsoft always talks about how they have over 100 million users of Windows 10, right?
Yeah.
So now if I put a game out on Windows 10 and on Xbox One, and exclusive to both, and cross-save, maybe even cross-buy, I think they need to be cross-buy. But maybe they're even cross-buy, right? So then you go to the developer and you go, oh, Sony's got, what, 40 million? It's weird. We have 127 million.
Yeah.
So
that's when they start announcing consoles again.
Right?
Yeah.
But it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can, it's almost like with the Blu-ray, how Blu-ray beat HD DVD, right?
Yeah.
Because HD DVD had like ton of backing and all this other thing, and then Sony went, yeah, but there's a Blu-ray player in every PS3.
Yeah. Their install base was just...
We're already at like 60 million. So, I mean, you guys do what you want, but I think Blu-ray's going to win. You know what I mean? Like, they were able to do that just from that install base. So think about, like, if they announced cross-buy and cross-save, even with just first parties off the rip, like with Chrono Break, you pre-order, you get cross-save, cross-buy. How fucking awesome is that?
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, you can see that they're doing... It's funny because...
Ever since he took over.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I feel like they're not even worried about now at all. And I think PlayStation right now, that's all they care about.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's because they, like, Phil Spencer kind of had an idea, like, I know where this is probably going to go, so I need to figure out ways to, because they got the HoloLens, which, when you think about, I think that's way more practical. I don't know. It depends on price, really, but I think that's going to be way more practical for what I would prefer for VR than all the gadgets and stuff like that. But I haven't really, seen what PlayStation VR, and I haven't really messed with the Oculus Rift yet. So, but I'm very intrigued by what they're doing. Like, I'm really excited that he's around. He's got like these big ass ideas, and we're hearing them left and right. And it's like, people are worried about why aren't they announcing console sales and everything. I don't think they need to. I don't think they're worried about that.
It's almost like, hey guys, we're doing better than the 360, so this is a win already. This generation's already a win. And I think Spencer knows that, like, the direction Xbox was going isn't where he wants to take it.
Yeah.
So he already knows this console's a wash.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just needs to do everything he can to set up the future.
Yeah.
And get past this console.
And I don't think that's exactly what I in my head what I was thinking is that I don't think he's giving up on this generation, but he's understanding that it's gonna do what it's gonna do.
Right.
Like, we're gonna continue to drop the price, bundle it with a ton of different games, give everyone all different kind of options, because people are gonna buy it because they have been buying it. Yep. They may not buy it at the rate the PlayStation is, but guess what? I'm worried about next time. You know what I mean? And it's interesting. It really is, All right. So, next up, The Division. We've talked a lot about The Division. A lot. Phil played a lot of The Division beta. I played an hour of The Division. So
was all of it.
Ubisoft Ubisoft announced that they're not gonna send any review copies out. GameStop wrote an article saying that when they spoke to Ubisoft, basically Ubisoft said it's more beneficial for the reporters and reviewers if they play the same time everyone else does, so that way they can get the whole MMO experience equivalent, like with everyone. What do you guys think of that? Because I know what I think of it.
I think personally that they've already built their hype train and they don't want anyone spoiling it.
I think their hype train is off the tracks. I think that after the beta, they are aware of how empty this game, like how bland this game is going to be, and they want people to just buy it. They don't want people to think about buying it. And I think that is an indication, because all of a sudden you're worried about that.
Yeah.
And it could be, it's a legitimate thing, but I think that they would want people to review this game if they thought it was going to be good enough, because they've never done anything like this. Now, they haven't had an MMO like this, but I don't think that is an indication of them being prudent about it, more than they're just worried that it's gonna do bad.
I don't know where you guys stand on this, but it made me think of something that makes sense to me. I think a review can only hurt you in the long run of things. In the long run of things, like your advertising is only positive. And in comparison to that,
what do you mean?
Your their advertising machine,
yes.
actually advertising the product,
gotcha.
is only positive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is all hype. It's only positive.
Yes.
And in comparison to that, even the best review generally is not that positive.
Okay.
So by comparison, you have your machine of hype in advertising just feeding people, this is the best thing, you got to go get it, go to the stores and get it. Mm-hmm. And a large portion of people are going to look for reviews to see how good it actually is. What you've been telling them is that it's the greatest thing and they have to go buy it.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have, unless you're bribing them, which possible.
We've seen.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen indications of that.
Hypothetically.
Incentivize, not bribe, incentivize.
You could actually be, it's not as positive in comparison. Them saying nothing is so much better than them saying something negative.
Yeah. So just to open this up a little bit more, the last thing, and this is basically the main part of the discussion, I think. So one writer from Forbes, Jason Evangelo, I hope I said that right, Evangelo, he says that the fact that they are holding off on sending out review copies is a good thing. He talks about that he sees that traditional reviews are becoming increasingly irrelevant, and he also goes on to say that the people that argue against that feel that reviews should reflect the game's best possible scenario. When we talk about like that idea of having the best image out there, I think sometimes it helps games, but we've also seen it hurt a lot of games, and we've also seen. I think he hits something as far as like I think a lot of people don't pay attention to reviews as much anymore because of Twitch, because there's so many ways to get games early now, with access codes from people playing on Twitch and stuff like that.
Well, I was just gonna say that a lot of Twitch streamers, a lot of the bigger ones, will actually get access before the game's even out.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to do like preview streams for 4 hours, or they get invited to an event and they stream for their people. Because I think that's the way the marketing kind of goes with it. But this game in particular scares me because of what I saw in the beta. And because of the red flags around no talk whatsoever about endgame content, zero. There's been none.
Yeah.
All talk about it goes, oh, you guys will see when it's released. All right. Well, that's fucking scary. And then they release their downloadable content plans, and in it are 2 pieces of endgame shit. Mm-hmm. That scares the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
That there isn't any there already, or isn't enough to make it worth it.
Yeah. And now, is there release dates on those DLC yet?
I believe it said it's pretty soon. It's not a long time.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up really quick, but.
Well, and Var, just while he's looking at that, so Do you agree with the idea that like they're becoming like reviews are becoming more relevant, or do you still think that they have a lot of value?
I think reviews have always had have an initially flawed system
Yeah,
because they are subjective.
yeah, for the most part.
A 10 doesn't mean everyone's going to love this game and it is completely
It's
flawless.
true.
A 10 could mean the second you pop it in, it's just like, well, this isn't for me. I can't get the controls. It has too much of a learning curve. Or all those things are possible. And a low grade doesn't mean that there's no fun to be had in it. It could be the mindless fun that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Like your perfect game may not be the reviewer's perfect game. And that's always been a problem with
And
reviews.
so when he talks about the people that oppose him, and this is what I find fascinating about it, he talks about that people that say that reviews should reflect the game's best possible scenario. That's not always the case when they're reviewing that game.
Well, it's not just
you know, especially games that are based on multiplayer, like that are multiplayer heavy. You know, Halo suffered from this with the Master Chief's Collection.
Yes.
He goes on to talk about it, where it reviewed really well, it was good, and then servers were shit. It just couldn't run for 6 months. And obviously that's one example, but I think most people aren't going to get the best possible scenario, which is why I think I agree with you. Like, it's very subjective. It's very subjective. Yes. Even more so.
The person who reviewed this game had a computer built to review this game.
Yeah.
Built for the best possible outcome. Now you buy it reading that review. Now, your specs may not be up to the standard that theirs were.
Yeah.
And you don't get out of it what they got out of it. That doesn't mean they lied to you.
Yeah.
Those are the circumstances under which they played it. Those are the circumstances they were designed to play it under, which does create a kind of bias between the reviewer and the consumer.
And that creates frustration, don't you think? Like,
but I think the problem with it is it creates undue frustration. I think at the end of the day, as much as the person will say that game disappointed me, they're going to think to some degree I can't trust that person's reviews.
Yeah, but that's the bigger picture, right? I don't go to a random person for reviews. I know who I go to for reviews, and it's because our tastes have been similar in the past, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think a review... I only think a review hurts the game if it's a bad game.
But that's not what traditional reviews as they're put out there. I don't...
What do you mean?
From a personal point of view, I'm not looking at first glance when I'm scrolling through IGN and they just post a number next to the game. I'm not looking at the editor or writer of that and saying, oh, well, from what he said before, we have similar tastes.
Oh, I do.
And that's not how it's presented at all.
Well, the IGN won't do that. Like, and that's the flaw with the number system. Is everybody goes to the number. That's the idea with the number system. You know, bullet points are good. You love Kotaku. Yeah, I know you love Kotaku. We all know you love Kotaku.
Hey, so I found some info.
DLC.
So Division, it doesn't have dates yet, but there's 3. So expansion 1 is going to be the Underground, opens up a new area to players explore uncharted underworld of New York City. 2, survival, players will survive as long as possible in a very hostile environment. And 3, it just says stay tuned for information. It's called Last Stand. So I believe the Underground and survival. In another article I read, I believe it was on GameSpot. This one I got from VG247. Those 2 are more about the best loot squads of 4. So again, one of my other issues with the game. And then the other thing that scares me that they brought up here and I kind of forgot about was, again, we still don't know what those content drops are for the season pass holders.
Oh.
I don't know. There's too much about the game that like is just red flag, red flag. Why are you not letting other people see it? That worries the shit out of me. And it worried the shit out of me how they only let you get to level 8. And I noticed that at level 8, shit got spongy, shit got different, and it really changed the feel of the game.
Yeah.
I think they're hiding it.
Yeah.
I think we have a Destiny Year 1 situation, and I think they're trying their best to hide it.
But I think Destiny ended up being so much better. Like, I thought it was...
Well, after taking King.
No, but I didn't think it was... I had a lot of fun with it, like, especially Year 1. That was when I put the most time into it.
But Destiny was fun to play.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I played the Division.
At the end of the day, yeah, I don't think it's going to be fun to play. Right. Yeah. Okay,
I think that's why they're hiding it.
Yeah.
I think they're hiding it. I think that... I'm sorry.
Just for one moment.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it now. I was so hyped for this when I didn't think it was multiplayer at all.
Yeah, I remember that. I was laughing at you, and...
I was... this game,
You're all-
like
you're
that,
when they first showed
Yeah.
this,
Hey, whatever.
those
Not true.
trailers, when they
looks so
first
dope.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh man.
yeah, but when wasn't it multiplayer?
YouTube, because they first marketed it as you can do this single player, you can be
Yeah.
by yourself.
Oh, okay.
You
I must have
and
missed
you-
that one.
It looked
can.
like Ghost Recon when they
Yeah,
first showed
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And,
And you
Ghost
can-
Recon has a team, but
Yeah.
it's you playing as that
Yeah.
entire
Yeah.
team. You're controlling them.
Yeah.
So
You-
when I saw those features, I was just like, oh man,
You can
this
do
is
that.
gonna be great.
You can do that.
You can play solo. You're gonna get fucked, just
Yeah.
like I did in the beta.
Yeah.
Just get fucked the whole time.
Yeah. And no,
That-
there's no
that's
camera
not-
there to read your emotions to make it easier for you either. It's not how.
My catalog of games,
Yeah.
Just a 12-year-old
being
girl.
screwed over is not what I look for in a game.
Oh.
It's not on your list. No, I just I really it's upsetting. Like it really is
Mhm.
that because more and more Ubisoft's pissing me off. Aside from Far Cry, I wasn't a fan of Watch Dogs. I thought it was like a half-assed game, and I was hyped for that game. Assassin's Creed, we all know what happened with there, and I've voiced my
What
frustrations
What happened with
on this
Assassin's
show
Creed?
plenty of
They-
times. Fuck,
You don't like
Everything.
Towers?
I do. I don't like any. Well, I didn't like doing it after the 5th time.
But that's hundreds of towers to climb.
Yeah, I know that's true, and they're different. They're different. They're not always towers. Sometimes they're churches, and sometimes they're ridges, and sometimes it's the same fucking
A
mechanic.
church with a tower on it.
Oh
It's still a
man,
tower.
yeah.
So I want to bring up something else for our lovely Division talk really quick. So I found this on Eurogamer.net, and I'll link it for the guys here. We can put it underneath. It's actually a picture of the map for Division.
Okay.
But it's a picture of the map of the Division pre and post E3.
Yeah.
And the E3 trailer of 2013, the Silent Night trailer, and the backpack teaser were all taken from areas that will no longer be in the game. Or, I'm sorry, not in the game yet.
Yeah.
I've already said Brooklyn's going to be later.
Yeah.
And the amount of dark zones in the area is like half.
So they downscaled the game and then basically probably made it DLC.
Yep. I have no faith in them. I do
you
not
call
give
me
them any
paranoid.
credit.
Yeah.
You call me paranoid. You call me pessimistic.
You are both of those things.
Sure.
And this is evidence as
This
to
doesn't
why.
change.
No,
This doesn't
this
change
isn't
it.
evidence.
This is evidence as
That's
to why.
not.
Because they'll actually do this to you. They'll be like, well, he's bending over. If I'm quick enough. Yeah.
Get
That's
to.
how you end up saying.
Oh.
But I just thought that was interesting because because imagine you got the review copy, right?
Yeah.
And what if that map's smaller? Or what
Yeah.
if they cut out something more and that hasn't been leaked yet or hasn't been out there yet? I don't know.
Yeah, and then it like.
What if they're giving you something someone else is going to have to pay extra for?
Well, that might happen. They would have to tell. I mean,
Yeah,
it
they
would.
generally tell them that, but
But even so, like that, like not what VAR said, but so more along the lines of if it's smaller and stuff, then it ends up kind of like discrediting your review. It could potentially, and it's like, oh, you missed this. How'd you miss this, idiot?
You love something that the rest of us didn't even get to see.
Exactly, and that's the whole thing that bothers me about the whole best case scenario thing when it comes to early reviews. I really don't care. Like, I think there's certain games I know ahead of time. I think we can all agree with this. There's certain games after what we've seen, we know we're gonna buy.
I think
we're
that's
gonna
what
buy
they're
it.
hoping for.
right.
But
I think that's why
yeah.
they don't want people to review it.
Yeah, and I know that there's a mass of people that don't follow games the way we do.
Mm-hmm.
But the way people are gonna
It's okay.
what? What'd I say?
Nothing, I was
He
in
didn't
shock.
know that there is a
Oh.
lot of people who don't.
Fucking dropping
Yeah.
bombs over here.
So yeah, there you go. Bomb dropped. A lot of people, there's people out there that don't follow games we do. But at the same time, like we're gonna be the ones that push, this great game to people, to the masses. And I don't think people companies seem to understand that. I think they're learning that, which is why they're willing. Do you think 5 years ago they'd not let people review this game? No, but they have so many more avenues where they can get feedback and get real time opinions, like Twitch, like YouTube and stuff like that. That they can do this to companies, and I feel like the video game industry right now, as far as like reviewing games, is kind of going through what we saw like newspapers go through, in that like they're trying to pivot and adjust. And Kotaku mentioned that they don't get certain games back. They're still doing well. IGN has lost people that are trying to do more creative things as far as getting previews out there, getting reviews out there. And you see that people are trying to adjust, and the ones that aren't are going to continue to struggle. Yeah.
What was it? Game trailers? Anyway, so
well, they were a niche, though. They were so niche.
I think to your point, and I'm glad you brought up Kotaku, because now I can say it without being as much. No, but I think this actually fits perfectly. This fits perfectly into it because Ubisoft found a way to market their game without going to the game places, right? The normal game news places.
Yeah.
Or not really news, but without going to their normal. So you don't have IGN being their mouthpiece anymore, right? You have Twitch and you have
technically you
other
do.
people.
Yeah.
You do, but not to the same point. Because you have the Twitch and you had the beta and you had all those streamers.
But it's not just that. These are big, like, these are places that people go to look for video games. Yeah. And even if they can't put up a review for the game, they're going to take their advertising money. So all you're seeing is best case scenario commercials for the game.
No. I get that, but the reviews are a large reason that people go there.
I understand.
And when they search and all those kinds of things.
But you don't have a choice at what you see first when you go on there.
Well, if you Google it, you just go straight to the review.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is,
even
if they're not doing a if they're not doing a review, the first thing you see on there, like before you can actually click on anything, is a commercial for it, even if they're not getting a review.
Yeah, but that isn't
that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it's a win-win. You can't say anything negative, and all we get to force this positive image down your throat.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is, with them taking these away.
Mm-hmm.
With them moving away from them, it actually gets rid of an IGN.
Yeah.
Over time, there's no reason to have them. So if I'm a marketing... So, first of all, we all agree, IGN and like sites, because I don't mean to always pick on IGN, I just fucking hate them.
Well, they're the big guys.
Right, they're the big guys.
Quote,
IGN
unquote.
and like sites like them are just mouthpieces for these places' marketing. So as their marketing moves away from those places are not going to exist anymore.
Yeah.
That's not the way. That's
exactly
what I mean by why.
Or they have to pivot.
Yeah.
Why I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, but VAR advertisers on websites and stuff like that, it's not based on views. It's more based on clicks. So like they can get their clicks elsewhere too.
Right, from a Twitch stream and from YouTube videos.
But they're being used because they're a hub.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Even when you go to IGN,
if you're new to video games and things like that, you type in like video game websites. IGN is going to be one of the first ones.
But that's just it. You can still use them.
Yeah.
Without having them say something negative, possibly say something negative about your content.
Well, what I'm saying is when you take away that content, when you're not giving them that content,
review ahead of time.
I don't have a reason to go there. Therefore, I don't have a reason to see your ads.
Yeah, ahead of time, you said.
That's
you
what
were
I'm saying.
just looking for that. Which is...
Yeah, but that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about, like...
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
we're talking about in a whole.
Yeah.
So we're saying Ubisoft is doing it now, but then if EA does it, or if whoever, Activision, if people start that path of where they take away the power of the site to post what they want or post how they see it...
Yes.
Then that takes away the marketing power of that site.
No, there's still a follow-up period.
Yeah, I don't.
They still get to play it with the rest of us and then put up their review. Like this
does it matter at that point?
I wouldn't say that everyone buys it the day it comes out. Who plans on buying it?
But it's first couple weeks is the most profitable.
Yeah.
Generally, first week, first 2 weeks.
I really think it's like a 2-week thing for most games. It's very fast.
I'm just saying they're almost biting the hand that feeds them by doing it.
Yeah. I think I see what you're saying, Var, that there's still a place to go to regardless of whether or not the review's out before the game comes out. Yeah. I get that. But it becomes less significant that you need to go there and only there if it's out at the same time as everybody else is, or if it's out, after the game's released. And because guess what? If they don't have a review yet, they'll probably go to Twitch. Like, people will probably go to Twitch to see how people are playing the game and come to an opinion themselves. You do have like IGN's ability that they're so big that they have other stuff, and I think, in my opinion, I like grew up, kind of watching IGN and following it. It's changed a lot. Like, it makes sense that it's going to change. It's been around forever. It's kind of like ESPN, where you can see that they were like so big that they're the big guys. They have to, they got a little comfortable, and I think they're trying to make changes. I don't agree with a lot of them. I think you can tell that they're more, kind of jack of all trades, master of none.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, they're there for video games, but it feels like they're going away from video games.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I get that feeling.
But for the most part, they're still really good writers that do really good reviews. But I think the idea of a review is like what this guy was talking about, Jason Evangelo from Forbes, is that a traditional review, the way you get it, is becoming increasingly irrelevant because people are finding different avenues to find reviews for games. And and like you said, taste is a big thing. Like how people want to view it, whether it be YouTube videos or articles or a certain person.
Twitch, man.
Yeah, and I mean Twitch is,
I'm telling you, I could see them getting rid of reviews completely, or early reviews, and go into a Twitch streamer and be like, "Hey, you're gonna come out to our office. We're gonna let you play for 4 hours, 8 hours.
Yeah.
Bring all your viewers."
Yeah, they can do that.
Well, they're doing that.
Yeah, they are.
Right.
But it would
Not
be like
early,
the main. It would be the main.
What I'm saying,
way.
Say there are no early reviews. This is how we're gonna present, because they want to control the message as much as possible. To your point, right? They want to make sure it's that best case scenario of like, oh, this is all perfect, and you're playing on the server that's literally next door.
Yeah. That's true.
But that's scary, and I honestly do think that eats into IGN and other sites like that and gets you away from them.
Yeah, GameSpot. GameSpot
IGN has an entire feature. First look. They have an entire fucking shit dedicated to that.
Yeah.
So imagine that started going to Twitch streamers or other ways to better control their message. Because I think that Twitch streamers, because of their infancy, are more willing to compromise their morals and their ethics when it comes to that stuff. And
they're probably cheaper. A lot cheaper.
That's true.
You figure, like, let's say I'm making up a number, but it's like, $100,000 to get IGN to post it. You can get 10 people for $10,000 a piece. You know what I mean? Instead of one site.
I don't even think it's that much. I'll tell you.
I'm just throwing a number out there. I wasn't.
Some of the guys I watch, they're like, "Oh, I'm Amazon affiliated. Right? Buy through my link. Some of them get pennies on the dollar for it, right? From what you spend. Others don't even get anything.
Yeah.
What they get is Amazon going, "Oh, okay, you were able to sell 10 shirts. So, if we're going to throw an ad at you, we'll give you this much for it."
Yeah.
But they're not even making that money off the direct sale. So, it's interesting. I just think
that's a beast in itself. That's going to be a problem as it grows.
I think that reviews, I wish they would keep them going. I definitely can see them ending.
Yeah. It's not going to happen tomorrow or next year.
No. It's
but
like years.
it's like I said with the newspaper thing, is like people are trying to figure out better ways to make it convenient and do it a little differently. But at the end of the day, like, they gotta really be creative to stay irrelevant. Oh, we'll see.
I mean, you got a guy now on Twitch who doesn't even matter what game he plays. 40,000 people watching.
That's crazy.
So
I start streaming, I get 0. I get excited when it's 1, and I think it's myself because I accidentally go on Twitch and
accidentally.
Yeah, accidentally.
Yeah, but imagine giving that guy 10 G's.
Yeah.
Here's 10 G's. Play this game early.
Yeah.
And they do it. They have sponsorship.
And you instantaneously know you have 40,000 people looking at your game.
Him. And not even that, who like him and value his opinion and think he's right and think what he says is valuable.
Yeah.
Instead of a click where, well, did they misclick, or, oh, did they go to this person just because the headline looked good and then they didn't give a fuck about the article?
How long did they stay?
Right.
How long did they stay?
They go there because they like what he has to say. Yep. And all he has to say is, it has my seal of approval.
Yep. It's good stuff. You guys got any other things to wrap up? Good?
So there's a rumor going around that the next Battlefield may be a World War I shooter.
I'm so excited for that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
I want another old school shooter.
I'm proud of you.
I know it might be a little. I think Battlefield DICE will. Oh, this is terrible. I think DICE will do it right.
No. Okay, so what evidence do you have?
That's why I said it's gonna sound terrible.
Right.
Yeah,
What was
because
it,
they
Battlefield
do.
3?
4 is not that bad. I really like
Not that good
4.
either.
It's you don't even play it. No, you don't play those.
We played it, and we played Hardline. You
No.
made me buy Hardline, motherfucker.
Well, that was your fault. We should stay with 4. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
This is what kind of friend he is.
Whatever. I'll play some
Really,
Madden.
though?
Yeah, I really am. Because you know what? I was watching a game. Somebody on Twitch actually playing Verdun. It's a PC shooter, World War One, and I was just like, God. I almost bought it, but I ended up buying Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six is your fucking moron. Was it slow, or did they speed it up?
That's the problem. It's a little slow. Yeah, that's the problem.
World War One was a little slow.
Yeah, they could find ways to speed it up.
I don't even think did we have guns back then?
No, they just like kind of threw.
Don't ever pick up a history book. I love talking to you like this. This is outstanding.
They kind of just threw insults. You know?
Yeah.
That was it.
So like, your mom's fat, and the guy's like, guys, I gotta go home.
They just finished killing the last unicorn, and yes, they invented the gun.
Wait, that was when the unicorns were killed? That's bullshit.
That's also supposed to be.
I was so close! What, unicorns?
Yes. Battlefield.
Oh. Well, it's gonna come out. Okay, so we'll wrap up. So this has been Last Level Gamescast, episode 20. We're on 20, guys.
We did it.
20. The big 2-0. It's almost an adult. In some eyes. What?
I think it's well past
adulthood. 21. I was thinking 21. Like, you could drink.
That's drinking.
You could drink. That's an adult.
And smoking in San Fran now. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Can't smoke unless you're 21 in San Fran.
I don't.
Even e-cigarettes.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole nother thing. The whole vaping thing.
That's a joke.
Well, that's fine. Do you?
Don't.
Yeah, this has been.
Actually do, because you'll die quicker.
Yeah. Besides that, let us know what you think about The Division.
You know, if they spent the time to watch us.
Yeah.
About everything we talked about.
Don't try to get them killed all quickly.
I know.
Wow.
we kind of need them for a time being.
That's true. And I guess with that crazy outro, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.